Good afternoon, I'm TerryTopCat for TerryTopCat Purrsents for ClusterView.com, and I'm with the wonderful Craig Kelly. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Good afternoon, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. We were just, before we did this interview, we were like wondering how long we go. We go back about 25 to 30 years.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was the infamous Elsie, wasn't it?
Yeah. So tell Elsie Smith. I think when you started acting, or she would have digs where actors.
That's
would
right.
say.
I was doing a play. I think it was something like. I mean, I could be wrong. Was it around the Bolton area? Because the Bolton Octagon rings a bell, or was it?
I thought she lived in Hebden Bridge, or maybe that was before.
I mean, do you know what?
It was a long time ago.
Do you know what? It could have been an earlier one. I'm not entirely sure what the play was, but it was early. I thought it was around the Bolton area. Anyway, she was lovely. She had about 14 cats. And really bizarrely, 7 of them hated me and 7 of them loved me.
Really?
Which is interesting because 7 is my lucky number. And Elsie
how did they hate you? Like they were hissed?
They didn't hate me. They just, when I say hate me, they didn't hate me. They just didn't love me in the way that the others did. The others would just follow me into the bed and they'd just sleep in the bed. And Elsie would go, "You all right with all these cats?" I said, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I like a bit of love. And then I said, "But what's wrong with the other lot? Why don't they love me?" And she was like, well, seven's pretty impressive. And then years later, it turned out that I'm highly allergic to cats. So go figure. Yeah.
Elsa, she was very psychic as well. I remember
she was psychic.
Yeah,
she was psychic, and she said to me, she said, "You're going to do well." Because that was
what
really
she said to me, she said, "You're going to meet this tall black woman with jewellery," and obviously Grace isn't tall, but
yeah,
she obviously saw that I met Grace Jones.
Really?
All these years later, I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
Lovely
she'd
lady.
she'd have those moments in the
and lots of angels, I remember,
in the kitchen, and then her husband would
Richard
would say, "Oh, she's having a moment," and he'd be like, and it was like, "What?" And then she'd say something. You know what I mean? Look, but she was very
beautiful lady.
I believed her.
Yeah,
So
tell me, Craig. Obviously, how did you get into acting? So when you got a brother who's into acting. Is he older than you, Dean?
He is younger.
Okay.
He basically completely copied me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've taught him everything he knows. He's taught me nothing. But he's a younger brother, so it's to be expected. I mean that's not strictly true. Do you know what I mean? He's given me some pearls of wisdom. But no, I think it's good being the younger brother and seeing successes and failures, because then you can maybe work out how to be more successful and. Do you know what I mean? Have less of the failures. But anyway, yeah. So I went to.
So obviously there must have been actors or actresses that you saw that you thought. Well, when was that moment you thought, I want to do that? Did you actually act when you were as a child in school plays or anything like that?
This is the funniest thing. So we did drama from when I was about 13 or 14 with Miss Bell, she was called, and I really didn't take it seriously. I was just into football and kind of being cool, and I thought drama was just a ridiculous thing. And but it was interesting. Years later, I'm talking about years later, when I've established myself as an actor and I've done a few things. I'm about 30, and I've found the old school report of my drama school.
Oh, how cool!
And not drama school, sorry, of my school. So Miss Bell, the drama teacher, teaching me when I was 13, 14, and all she says is, "Well, Craig really is quite the ham." So I don't know what she actually means by that. I don't know if she just means I was a hammy old actor, or I was very theatrical, or I didn't take it seriously. But anyway, so I always wanted to be a footballer, and I always thought that I was going to play for Liverpool. My dad thought I was. I thought I was going to do it. I just had this dream and this feeling. And then I got injured at 14 and a half, and then I didn't play for about a year and a half. And I got to 16, and basically I was about to leave school, and I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to be on a YTS scheme. because I just had a thing about that. And I literally was walking down the road, and this is a true story. I was walking down the road, because I'm from St Anne's-on-Sea near Blackpool, and there was a college, and it said, open day, come and choose some courses. Now at that point, I was interested in psychology and sociology. Those are the things that I thought I could do. And I walked into this place, and I spoke to the people who were doing those subjects, and I think I might have actually signed up with them, or almost signed up with them. I'm just about to leave, and I just do a double take, and there's this guy who looked like John Gielgud, and he was just something about him, and I walked over to him and I said, "Hi mate, what do you do?" And he went, "Acting, dear boy, acting."
I love the
And I thought to myself, oh that. And he went, "Yes." And on this course, the girls outnumber the boys 6-1. I said, "Where do I sign?" And that is the absolute God's honest truth. And he went, "Here, dear boy." And I said, and then we got into the details, and it was good, because you do a 2-year course, which was a preparation for proper drama school. You know, which I ended up going to. Drama Centre, it was called, the one that I went to. And then you basically I did sociology, O-level, media studies. What else did I do? I did computers, something else that I can't remember. So that really helped, because then at 18 I was into it, and I went to drama school in London.
And you studied method acting.
Method acting, yeah.
So tell us what actually is method acting.
Well, it's based on the Stanislavski method. I've said his name right there. He was a Russian guy who was a genius, and basically that's where the method is based on. It's based on that. It's basically, it's a very serious thing. It's like the craft of acting. Where's your character about? What are you saying? What action are you playing? What are you doing to the other person? How are you feeling because of the world? You know, it's basically based on truth. There's no winging it. You've got to do a lot of work. And it's basically, Drama Centre was the place where I went, and they were doing that years before anyone else. Now all the drama schools do it, you know, RADA, Lambda Central. So at 18 I went there, and that's when I really realised that, oh God, this is a thing. This is a serious thing, and God, if I can do this for a living, that would be amazing.
And tell us the first job. So after you finished drama school,
yeah.
Was it easy to get an agent, or did they come to some of the shows that you performed, and then they obviously they took a shine to you, whoever was your agent?
I was very fortunate. You basically do a showcase at the end of the term of the year. You know, the last term of the last year, and they'd invite agents to see it, and they're coming along, and they're just, you know, they want to see something. So I had an idea, and I thought, if I can do something funny, if I can make them laugh, then that'll stand out. And that's what I did. I played a character called Moritz in a Wiedekind play called Spring Awakening, and they have a chat about reproduction, you know, but the 14-year-old boys. So it's very, you know, the character I played was a nervous type, but it was perfect for comedy. And there was actually at the same time, there was a documentary that you can see on YouTube that's out there, which is, I think it was called Drama School, and they show my scene, me doing me getting the agent through this scene. And I got an agent, and then they put me up for a job, and then I was fortunate enough, with almost my very first job, I got a job called The Young Americans with one of my acting heroes called Harvey Keitel. And I thought, wow.
Where was the location? Was that filmed in London?
London, yeah. And I got that. I was the lead. I was the main part in it. I was working with Keitel. I took to it like a duck to water, and I went, well, this is me. I'm a massive film star now, and this is great. and then I didn't work for about 9 months after doing that film.
But that's the reality sometimes.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
And I had a great agent, and the film came out, and it did well, but it didn't get released in America. There was talk of me going over to America and getting a big agent, which I was actually offered, and I was so young. I just thought, I just want to do it in England. I don't really want to go to the States. And I didn't. And so...
Do you regret it?
I don't. I mean, yes and no, because if I would have taken that path and I'd have been more successful than I am now, then I wouldn't have my kids and my wife and my life here. Yeah. So I believe that all roads have led to this life. I wish I had a mentor. I wish I'd have had someone like a big brother or a father in the business or an uncle in the business or someone that could have gone, don't do that.
But was there any actor that you worked with? We'll come on to all the things that you could look up to and
not really
those wise words.
Not really. I didn't really. I should have maybe seeked a mentor, but I didn't. I didn't have one. And it's like when these kids who've got parents in the business, or an agent in the business, like the kid who played Harry Potter. His dad was a massive agent.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so a lot of these kids that do well.
They have connections.
Yes, they're talented, but it's not just about the connections. It's about the advice that they're given and what pitfalls to avoid.
Right.
If my kids want to do what I do and I can't dissuade them from doing it, because I wouldn't necessarily want it for my kids, because it's a brutal business. But if they did and they wanted to do nothing else, I would help them. And I would like to think that I could help them do better because of just the advice that I would give them. Because obviously, if you've got your parent who, you'll die for your kids.
Of course.
So if you're advising your child with no agenda, I think...
That's the right word, no agenda.
Yeah. They've got an advantage.
So you've done so many shows, Craig. So one... prominent one, I would say, was Queer as Folk, because as a gay man, I was saying to Mark Anthony, at that time, and Russell T Davies, a brilliant writer, there wasn't many mainstream, anything really on a gay subject and back then in 1992, wasn't it?
It was a bit later than that. It was 99 that it was released, but yeah, you are right. I think Russell basically wrote it because he wanted the gay characters to be the main characters. He didn't want them to be the flamboyant uncle in one episode of a show, or he didn't want them. He wanted them as positive characters. Yeah, and he just wrote a great script. And
was he great to work with?
He was amazing to work with. He's brilliant. He's a genius.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. His brain is just, and he's such a lovely, lovely guy. And we're still friends, we're still in touch. But when I went for that role, I've got to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I got it was because I didn't want it. Because it was scary. Straight man, young actor. Did you worried that if I play that, is that going to do me any harm or is it going to do me good?
But did you get any... Okay, from the gay community, obviously, it was very prominent, very successful. Yeah. But did you get some negativity, like, well, it should have been a gay man playing that role?
No, not at the time.
Really?
Absolutely not. I got a lot of thanks, a lot of gratitude, a lot of love. And the show went mainstream.
Absolutely. And they even did an American one as well.
They did. But the amazing thing was, what was funny about it was me playing against type. Like I'm playing a beta male who's shy, who doesn't fancy himself, who doesn't like girls but likes boys and likes his own best mate. Me playing that role, I've never had more attention from girls.
Okay.
They just loved that character.
It was a great character.
They loved him. They loved him. They just loved him, and I don't know why. I suppose it's because he was sensitive and he was vulnerable, and sort of maybe they saw something of their own experience in his experience. And
I think I saw some posts maybe a couple of years ago that they had some celebration in Manchester as well, didn't they? That anniversary.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that with the other members of the cast as well?
Yeah, I think they've been. I think Russell's been. I think, is that Cruise 101, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they have a night every year.
Do they?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like a Hotel Babylon night. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah, it's good.
But, okay, so other shows that you do, so obviously being on a mainstream show, let's talk about Coronation Street.
Coronation Street, yeah.
So how's that complete? Okay, how different is it working on a film set to a TV series? Because film set, I hear a lot of people say there's a lot of waiting around, and you know, whereas obviously it's completely different structure for TV series. Yeah, I mean, which do you prefer, or
well, I mean,
depends
with
on
Corrie, for example, that was an honour to be in Corrie. I mean, I'd watched that since I was a kid, but when you get in there, you realise that you know, they're not messing about. There's some serious work to be shot very, very quickly. So what that is, it's almost like, I mean, it's a little bit like a factory environment, where it's very kind of, let's get this done, because that's the way it's got to be. And so within that, you've got to do your own work, in the sense of the directors will help you, of course, but you haven't got a lot of time on the ball, so you've got to do a lot yourself. If you're doing a TV show like Queer as Folk, you know, there was a lot of chats with the directors, you know, there's a lot of rehearsals, there was a lot of takes. I remember doing Queer as Folk and doing too many takes almost. There was just like, you do 10 of the establishing shot, you do 10 double shots maybe, you might do a single here, a single here. You know, you could do a scene and it would be exhausting. I prefer as an actor to be quick, because it just keeps it, because it's very hard, it's draining if you constantly doing take after take after take. So it's a show like Queer as Folk now would be shot a lot quicker.
Right.
I think in those days we were probably given a lot more time on the ball, which is probably why it was so good. You know.
But also, I always wanted to ask an actor, how difficult is it for you to, I mean, I don't know how, like musicians, when they write their lyrics, but remembering lines? Do you struggle with that? Or
no, I mean, well, that's the sort of that's the easiest part of it in a way. It's hard because it's boring. It's hard because there's no other way to do it by just going over and over and over and over. It's a discipline. One of the things that I did when I did Corrie was I used it as an opportunity to try and find out what system worked for me. What, like, you know, for example, learning the lines inside out, back to front, or learning them not quite as much as that and being a bit edgy and dangerous, or, you know, sort of maybe learning them lightly or doing less work or doing more work. And I found that learn your lines inside out, do the work. That's it. Because if you've done the work and you've learnt the lines inside out, it's almost like when they say action, you can forget it and you can just see what happens. Whereas if you don't do the work and you don't know the lines, it's a disadvantage, because you're kind of, you know. And I've tried all that as an actor. I've tried to find out what it is that would give me the best performance that I can give. And now I would definitely advise anyone, it's all about work. There's no shortcuts.
So obviously Queer as Folk was very successful, but we're talking about Coronation Street, which is mainstream 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah. How intrusive was that on your personal life? I mean, that's a completely different level to Queer as Folk.
Well, people, I mean, that's a good point. People would basically
think they own you.
Or they would talk to you like you were their mate.
Right.
Like they really knew you. Whereas with Queer as Folk or films that I've done, people are a bit more like, oh, there's that guy. Whereas with Corrie, you're in people's living rooms and you're that character, and they're like, you know, people would shout out things and say stuff. Fortunately, I was playing a great character who was, the story about that actually was when I went for the role, and I think I'd got the role. I asked the producer. I said, am I going to be a good character or a baddie or a villain? And she said, well, we're not sure yet. We're going to see what your scenes are like for the first few weeks. So I was like, right, I'm going to be a goodie. I don't really want to be a baddie. I'll just be a goodie. So I played it like. I was so charming. I was so nice. I was so pleasant, and I thought, this is it. This is me doing what I'm doing. I get brought into the room after 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, and she says, yeah, so all the writers have seen your work, and they love it, and they've got a clear indication about where you're going to go. And I said, what's that? She said, you're going to be a womanising con mum. I said, what? He went, yeah. They think you got villain written all over you. I was just like, well, that'll show them. That'll show myself rather for trying to, trying to sort of manipulate them in a way. They just thought because I was so nice and charming, be more interesting, like to be a villain. And so, so I was, and within that, I got a lot of respect off the lads, and again, seemed to be playing a character that the girls liked. So it was nice.
So also you did another mainstream. So you did also Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh,
so that's
crikey, Jesus.
So tell us about that, because obviously there's. Was that when Bruce Forsyth?
Brucey was still there.
Was still there.
You're my favourite.
Did he say
You're
that
my favourite, Craig. Yeah. Well, I mean, strictly, without going into too much detail about that,
It's a big discipline if you're not a dancer and the training.
I mean, I put in so much work, but at the end of the day, I was at a disadvantage because I wasn't a natural dancer. I have never trained at dancing, and I was like a lamb to the slaughter in some ways, because I was offered it for 3 or 4 months in advance, and my wife said, why don't you get some lessons? And I said, I'm no cheat. And she said, well, yeah, well, I think you should, maybe you've never danced, but I've never seen you dance.
Did you both watch that? Like, did you watch Strictly Come?
Yeah, I mean, I was a fan. That's why I did it, because I thought, well, out of all the shows, that's brutal, and I actually fancy myself as a dancer. God knows why. And I got to week 8. I got to Blackpool.
Which is great.
Yeah, but now, I mean, it's difficult because I always say that if I'd have done better that first week, got better marks, because I got 22 and 22. And Flavia, my partner, was quite hopeful.
Was she great?
She was great, yeah. But she was quite hopeful that I'd get good marks. And because I didn't, I got average marks. It really dented my confidence. And it's just little things like that. If I'd have got higher marks, I think my confidence. But actually, my confidence was chipped away at. And
by the judges.
A bit of that, yeah. And a sort of feeling that
imposter syndrome.
Well, it was just like a feeling of.
Who won the year? Don't mind me asking.
It was Chris Hollins, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was.
I think. Look, the thing with Strictly, it's a show that's got arcs and it's got a narrative, and every character has got to have a story. And my story, it seemed, was let's get Craig to Blackpool. So it wasn't let's make Craig a potentially great dancer and a winner. It was, he's trying hard, let's just get him to Blackpool. Now in hindsight, years later, I go, God, that was an achievement.
Yeah, of course,
it was an achievement. But at the time, I found it hard.
But another great, another great thing that you done.
Yeah.
And you're also known for voiceovers as well.
Coming up on Shipwrecked.
Yeah. So
over on Tiger Island. Well, you just get that job because you've got an agent and you've got a nice voice. You've got a northern voice, and
do you like voiceovers? Because
I love voiceovers.
Some of it you're just by yourself in a room with the headphones.
Absolutely love voiceovers.
In the dark, or maybe or not.
I mean, well, it's the best job in the world.
Okay.
It's the best job in the world, and I say it's the best job in the world above being an actor, because it's just
easy.
Well,
Or
I
you
mean,
enjoy it
I
so
wouldn't. I
much?
wouldn't. I mean, I find it easy, but that's
Sure.
because I've just done so many of them.
Right.
But the act of just going in and sometimes doing a job for 5-10 minutes and getting paid quite a lot of money,
Good.
or just being in a booth for between 2 and 4 hours, but just getting paid for that is, you know, it's amazing. Whereas you can get paid very little to be a theatre actor sometimes, and it's brutal and it's hard, and you're at the mercy of the critics, and the audiences might not come, and it's whereas
Have you done much
voiceovers.
theatre work?
Yeah, I've done.
So which ones would you say you've enjoyed the most?
I did do a play. When I say, yeah, it was a play, but it was like a musical, but it was like an anti-musical.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna do the complete line because my son's over there. But it was a play that was based at Christmas, and it was like a you know, as I say, it was an anti-musical because I played a character that was really angry, really depressed, hated the royal family. He was a Scouser, and he was just like skulking around the stage, bar humbug. He hated Christmas, and you know, so one of my solos was, "Is it me that's changed or effing Christmas? Is it Christmas that's changed or effing me? What have I gained? What have I lost? If I make the next one, what will I be? Is it Christmas that's changed or effing me?" So that is probably one of my favourite experiences as doing a play as an actor, because I got to sing and it was such a great character. But also there was a show called Fast Labour that I did at Hampstead and Yorkshire, West Yorkshire Playhouse. That was amazing. Played a guy from Ukraine. It was brilliant. Brilliant guy. Come to England, not speak English, but learn English by listening to talking radio.
Okay.
Vogan and not lag. So that was brilliant as well. That was a real arc, because he comes with nothing and he ends up. It's based on a true story. He ends up being a multi-millionaire. And he's like in charge of about 300 to 400 people that he's bringing in on the sly. Great character.
So I want to ask you something else. Which is there any actors or actresses that you'd love to work with, really look up to, or upcoming ones that you'd love to work with?
Well, I mean, the one that springs to mind is Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, he is just I've got a lot of time for him, because he's
Have you worked with him?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
But the commitment that he has to his craft, and he's just always brilliant. He's just always brilliant.
And what about you actually writing or you're directing? Have you thought about going behind the camera?
I have actually thought about it. I mean,
Because a lot of actors do that.
Yeah, I've done some writing. I co-wrote a film called Trick or Treat, which I produced with my brother-in-law, and I'm very proud of that. And I starred in that. I was in every second of every frame. And that was set on the night of Halloween, which is my birthday, in Blackpool. And basically, my character is depressed. He's basically got the postnatal blues, which sort of men are not supposed to have. But I think it is a thing, you know, sort of men can get down in the dumps as well. And it's based on, you know, a little bit of personal experience. I mean, I found the first time round quite tough. The second time was easier because I knew what to expect. But when you have a child for the first time, woof, it's like nothing else. No one warned you. I mean, it's like nothing else.
Sure.
And then you get through it, and it's incredible. And you wouldn't change it for the world, but you know, it can be hard. So anyway, so it was based on that idea that this guy is down. He's got this beautiful baby, but his head's gone. And then anyway, so he has a smoke, and strange things start to happen, and he thinks he's psychic, and so there's a lot of red herrings in the film, and you as an audience member, you've got to work out what is going on. Is this psychic? Is he right? Are these things real? So yeah, so I've had that experience, and it's still out there now. I think we made it in 2018. It was released in 2019 or 2020, and it's if you've got Prime, it's on. It's on your subscription, trick or treat.
So two more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. So first of all, we'll talk about COVID. So what was that like? Obviously a lot of things shut down, and that must have been really hard. I mean, did you still do the voiceovers?
COVID was a nightmare for me because we'd basically moved house and spent all of our money doing the house up, based on the fact that I was going to be working the next year and earning, and basically I don't think I worked for about 10 months during COVID, so it was very scary.
Sure.
It was very scary. I started to think, what else could I do, and I quickly realised nothing. I'm an actor and I do voiceovers and I can write and I can produce, but out of that, I'm not going to be the head of sales at some car company. Do you know what I mean? Although I'm sure I'll be very good at it.
We quickly mentioned football. You're a big Liverpool supporter.
Yep.
We're still being friendly because I'm Man United. So you're currently in a show called Jamie Johnson. So tell us about
JJFC,
how you got that role, and also the wonderful Mark Anthony Abel, who's filming for ClusterView and is going to be editing for ClusterView.com. His son Harrison's the lead in it. So a small world.
It is a small world, yeah. Well, that was just the process of, it came through the audition. I actually auditioned for Coach Byrne, which was the other part that, was the head coach, and then basically, I think there's something happened when they were about to start filming that someone dropped out for some reason, and basically they gave Jim the part of Coach Byrne. And then they needed a Simon, because I think he was going to play Simon, and they found me, and then I got the offer, and then suddenly I was filming, and then
and being
it's been a great job.
To your heart.
It's a great role for me because my father's passed now, but it's basically him. I'm basically doing. When I'm saying quality, the balls glued to your feet, that's my dad. So there's a lot of my dad in that character, so it's a great job. I did 3 series, so there's 3 series out that I'm in.
And where can everyone see that? It's on iPlayer.
Yeah, it's on BBC iPlayer. I think when it goes out live, it might be on BBC. But yeah, I mean it's.
And what's it like to work with Harrison?
Oh, he's brilliant. Great kid. Great.
He is a great kid.
He's a great kid. I mean, he's a gentleman.
Like his dad.
Yeah. And he's just. He's got a lot going for him. He can act. He can play football. He's a nice lad. Do you know what I mean? He's he's great.
So, what about future plans or dream roles?
Dream roles would be to come off the bench and score the winner for Liverpool. But I think at my age now, that I don't know, it might be coming. But I still think I could do a job. You put the ball in that area, I'll bang it in the top corner. But no, I mean,
directors you'd like to work with? Anyone in particular?
Well, I mean, my favourite director is Scorsese.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So let's say him.
Okay.
I mean, my favourite film is Raging Bull.
Yeah.
And my son asks me from time to time, he goes, well, what's your favourite film? And I go, Raging Bull. And he'll say, why? And I say, because it's perfect. It's a perfect film. And
you also worked on, you had a little role in Titanic. That must have been amazing experience.
Yeah, I mean, I had 6 small scenes in the original script. Me and James Cameron got on so well that he gave me another 6, so I had 12 scenes, and they kept me there. I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. I was there for 3 months, getting paid. It was just unbelievable job. Half the time I was on hold. They'd call it on hold, which would mean that they wouldn't want to send you back home to the UK, but they'd hold you, and I thought it meant holiday. Because it was every day. You'd be like, what? You get your per diems, you say H, you're like, all right, I can go out and, do you know what I mean? I can have some fun. And it was incredible. I've been on the set of Titanic. I've hung around with Kate, Leo,
sure,
all that cast.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. We were singing every night in the bar.
How cool.
You're playing with the band, who are the band.
Sure.
You know, for example, just an incredible time. And I was sort of 25, 26. And here's what story. Another showbiz story about, you know, what it's like to be an actor. So I'd done that, and James Cameron just kept writing scenes for me, and I'm like, I've got 12 scenes in this huge film. This is unbelievable. I think I've made it. Then a year later, I get asked to go to the Royal premiere, and I'm like, this is it. This is my moment. They've asked. This is my night. Get there. I'm saying to everyone, 12 scenes, Kelly. 12 scenes in Titanic. Huge part. Going to go stratospheric. 9 of them were cut. I had 3 scenes in that film. And to say...
That happens a lot, though.
To say I was disappointed is an understatement. But there was a free bar, and I got over it, and I was young. And, of course, now it's brilliant that I've got 3 scenes in that film.
Absolutely.
At the time, I was like, what about the other 9? You know what's interesting? 10 years later, they did a DVD. I think it was the 10-year anniversary. And on the DVD, there is another 3 or 4 of my scenes. And the critics went, it was a mistake not having these scenes in the film, because it shows the character of this guy here, you know, who was called Bride. Because the ones that made it to the film were all the formal ones.
Right.
But behind the doors, he's going, look at this one. What's his private trainer meet him? Lordy bloody does. You think he is? Be up all night on this lot. Do you know what I mean? He was more like that. He was more of a bit of a geezer. Whereas all you see is me going, another ice warning, sir. This one's from the Nordam. Carpathia's making 14 knots, sir. Full steam for them, sir. Said they can be here in 4 hours, right? Now, if you got that, the light and the shade, that's great. You've got a great character there.
Sure.
And he was a great character, but you know, only 3 made it.
Craig has been an absolute... So you have a website that people can look at your work? Or
a website, yeah. I mean, there is. If you Google me, there's a website, yeah. CraigKelly.co.uk, and I'm on Instagram, Mr. Craig Kelly. And that's how people, you know, we can get in touch.
We finally
sometimes.
got the interview done.
We did, and it was
absolute
great.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
And thank you to Mark Anthony Abel for ClusterView.com, TerryTopCat Purrsents for ClusterView.com, Mark Anthony Abel filming and editing. Thank you, Craig Kelly.
You're welcome. It's been a joy.
You
know, I had no idea if I could sort of chat, and I think I've proved myself wrong now, haven't I? Sort of chatted quite a bit.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
thank you.
Been great. Thank you.